For years, I treated spirituality like a marathon. I was on this path of seeking where I was trying to end a lot of my personal struggles of anxiety, depression, and a lot of stress because I was facing a lot of failure in my life during that time. And most importantly, I was trying to understand my true nature and possibly find God, as a lot of these spiritual paths can promise you of. And from then, I was on this journey of trying to find the next thing, next book, next event, next meditation retreat, or the next video that could actually enlighten me. But 5 years ago, my journey took a complete U-turn when I found the teachings of Advaita Vedanta, because everything that I was doing until that point was looking externally. But when I found teachings of Advaita Vedanta in the books like Ashtavakra Gita or Yoga Vasistha or Mandukya Upanishad, as well as more modern teachings of teachers like Ramana Maharshi, Rupert Spira, as well as Nisargadatta Maharaj, all they were pointing, trying to get you back to yourself. And it was during this time I was actually able to find God, and it completely changed my way of looking outside at the reality, as well as my complete daily living habits, lifestyle, and everything else. So to give you a little bit background of Advaita Vedanta comes from Eastern teachings of Hinduism, but unlike other sects which has either monoism or polytheism, which have either like many gods or just one god, Advaita Vedanta believes in something completely different, which was actually what intrigued me in the beginning. In our house, we worship multiple different idols at the same time, like Goddess Shiva, Lakshmi, and God Krishna, and a lot of other deities as well. And in some monotheistic kind of sects in Hinduism, they worship one of these gods as the supreme god. For example, Hare Krishna people worship Lord Krishna as the supreme deity, right? But in Advaita Vedanta, there are some sects that actually go towards like Shiva and Shaivism, but in Advaita Vedanta teachings that I was interested in personally, there was no mention of God and something that you had to worship upon. Advaita Vedanta is made up of two words, Advait and Vedanta. Advait coming from A and Dvait, which means non-dual, and Vedanta means the end of Vedas. There are so many Vedas in Hinduism. It could be thought of as end of those Veds. So Advaita Vedanta is like that kind of teaching that points you directly towards the Supreme, and it helps you find out the Supreme actually within you. So the main theme of Advaita Vedanta is everything stems out of the Supreme, which is the divine consciousness itself. All the beings and everything that we see here all around us in our reality are simply manifestations of that single consciousness. So everything that we see in the reality here is the awareness itself. So to explain these, there are a lot of different kind of analogies that are given in different texts, and one of the main examples that are given is like the screen and the pictures appearing on the screen. So the consciousness is like the screen, which is the background of all the existence, and the images that appear is on the screen is our own finite mind and all the contents that we see around us. While the screen or the consciousness remains constant, the images keep on changing. If this is still hard for you to grasp, you can think of it as consciousness being the ocean, the body of water that is flowing in the ocean, our mind being the wave that is floating in the ocean. While we are acting and reacting as those waves separate from the ocean, we often forget that we are actually part of the same water, which is the consciousness or the awareness itself. And when we are separated away from our own essential self, that's when we actually start to suffer and all kinds of miseries start manifesting in our lives. That's because most problems that we actually experience are simply problems of our mind that come in the forms of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, which are just temporary passing by in field of awareness, the awareness that we are. And in order to actually understand, embody, and experience this, there are teachings like the teachings of self-inquiry given by a lot of masters from the past, including Ramana Maharshi, who really popularized this during the 1900s. And it helps us to actually question our true nature and help us figure out what we truly are. And the primary question we have to keep asking ourselves is, who am I? who is not the I as the identity or the personal identity self, but who is the real I who is beyond that personal identity self. Because see, once you start going inwards, you'll start to see that all the thoughts, all the emotions are simply passing by in the field of awareness. The thoughts, they come and go. Emotions, they come and go. Even all your memories of the past, they are simply ideas that are coming in the forms of thoughts. But when you start to actually observe what's happening within, you'll start to see that these are just temporary happenings that are coming, passing by, and they don't carry any real weight. And then you can start asking yourself questions like, to whom is this thought occurring? Or who is the one who is witnessing these thoughts? And once you start to ask yourself these kind of questions and just sit with yourself trying to contemplate your true nature, then you'll start to slowly let go of your personal mind or your ego self. Once you let that go, you'll start to get in touch with your own infinite consciousness or the awareness that you are, which is eternal, right? And that awareness that we're talking about is not hidden anywhere. It's sitting right here, hidden behind all these experiences, and it's actually hidden because we are giving so much weight to the contents of our experience, like our sight, smell, all the perceptions of the five senses, as well as our thoughts, memories, and all the bodily sensations, all the pain, all the suffering that we feel in life. Also our pleasures and aspirations that keep our mind busy, those are simply covering up the awareness that is always resting in the background. But once we let go of all the mental burdens, all of a sudden it's like the sun shines through between the dark clouds, right? And everything starts to light up. So in my own life, the first few years were very much confusing, to be honest. I was just trying to find out different texts. Some of these texts were a little bit confusing to me because it was of completely different nature, right? And some of the ideas presented were also sounding very much solipsistic to me, which means like everything felt very selfish, as if the whole creation was part of my own mind. My mind was the one actually powering my existence, but this was completely wrong. I was able to get more clarity once I started getting into the teachings of Rupert Spira. I think he's one of the best teachers who can explain this concept beautifully, who is present in today's day and age. And once I was able to get a good grasp of everything that I was learning, everything started to become very quiet. My mind started to quiet, everything started to feel much more calm. Even though I was not totally getting all the concepts in the beginning, the quietness had already begun and it was starting to just seep in through my life. In the beginning, some of the days I still felt my mind was very much restless. I mean, there was a whole kind of like game going on. Sometimes my mind would be very quiet, sometimes my mind would be very chaotic too. But even during the chaotic times, I was able to break out of it, or at least recognize that it was my mind talking. It was my thoughts actually doing this, and this is not the real me. I started to develop that kind of awareness within me, which started to make everything in my life much more easier. Because before that, I was a very chaotic person. I was a go-getter, always trying very hard, but at the same time I wasn't getting the results that I wanted to see in my life. But as soon as I started implementing the teachings of Vedanta into my daily life, a lot of the things that I was trying to accomplish started to unfold even more naturally. And another thing that Advaita Vedanta teaches is this notion of non-doership. It teaches you that you are not actually the doer, and this lifted a huge burden for me because I was always trying to do something, manifest something, or trying to create my reality in a certain way, right? But once I was able to drop all of that effort, things started to happen in my life even more beautifully. It wasn't like I gave up all of my material life, and during this time I was able to connect back with my parents. I even got married. I even started a new business. Advaita Vedanta was always there in the background, guiding me more peacefully. And it was during this time I was able to get a true taste of God. And God, I don't mean in a traditional sense, but God as in the divine consciousness or the awareness that drives everything, you know. So once I would sit with my eyes closed, just contemplating on my true nature, I would just get reconnected to that divine essence, which would just make me very calm and quiet. I would feel a lot of these mental and emotional and even physical burdens just release from within me. Even till this day, when I think back of who I used to be like 5 years ago, it seems so crazy. But just to put it short, Advaita Vedanta is like a really phenomenal practice that I've discovered, and I'm so grateful for it. About Advaita Vedanta, I highly encourage you to maybe pick up a book from Ramana Maharshi or Rupert Spira or Nisargadatta Maharaj, or if you are interested in the traditional kind of books, Ashtavakra Gita, that's one of the best book. Or you can also read the verses of Mandukya Upanishad, which are just 12 short verses. If you just read the translations for that, that can also help you explore your true inner nature and understand yourself from a much more deeper level. And besides that, we also have a free course out called The Path to Direct Realization, and in this course we have a 5 parts video series which you can watch daily, and it could be a perfect starter or a refresher even if you have been on this path for quite some time, because it is a process based on self-inquiry and direct experience. So if you want to learn more about that, the link is down in the description box below. And if you guys have your own similar experiences, I would love to hear your experiences down in the comment section as well. And with that, I want to wish you all the very best. Goodbye and namaste.